Welcome to Wisdom 101. Every person God created, whether you have accepted Him as being born again or not, every person created carries within them a seed of greatness. Every person carries within them a business. Somebody says, I'm a child of God. Do you understand what that means to be a child of God? Because the first picture God gives us is that of a creator. Who are the people right now whom we call truly successful? People who have created. So, Christians love to pray, love to be in church, love to become spiritual. Instead of using, do you know that a Christian was supposed to be the most powerful being? Because what you call prayer brings you at the platform where you can dialogue with God. Work is given to you because you are highly skilled. And when you don't have skill, people don't give you work. So when you hear people saying, oh, there are no jobs, no one is hiring, what they're actually telling you to say, I am skillless, I have no ability, I have not developed myself, I have nothing. I just went to school. And welcome to Wisdom 101. I remember the first time Pastor Jeremy was in South Africa, I think it was 2005. Pastor Jeremy told me to say, Wesley, I want to see your books. Show me what you have in your library. John chapter 7, verse 15. John chapter 7, verse 15. Just write that down. John chapter 7, verse 15. He asked me to say, Wesley, show me the books that you have. And you know, I felt good because I had been buying some books then. But imagine, all the books that I had were Christian books. So if you come to my smoke library that I had on a corner, I had built it on the corner. I remember Good Morning Holy Spirit was there. Some books by T.D. Jakes were there. I had books on prayer, warfare, all the guys. I mean, you talk about Bishop Oyedepo, there was some Miles Monroe there. I had books of men and women of God. And when he saw, this is what I like, because this is what helped me. He saw the books that I had, then he told me to say, Wesley, if this is all you read, you'll be very narrow. Now, I want you to think over what I've just said. Here is a person who thinks he's reading, but he's reading only from one angle, one line of thought only. I was reading, but my exposure was only to spiritual things. And he told me to say, if this is all you read, you'll be very narrow. And I remember he started giving me books, and I remember the first book he gave me to read was Eat That Frog, Brian Tracy. Now, you know, for a Christian, when you just mention that title, Eat That Frog, you know Christians want to bind, eh? Just listen to the title, Eat That Frog. The book taught me about procrastination, how to kill procrastination. Eat That Frog showed me to say the hardest thing, the most difficult thing in your life is the first thing to do. Actually, can I tell you some books I've read? You better write them down, because I rarely talk about some of these things in my sessions. So when I go into it, because I want to answer the question, does books, studying, reading, does it help you in success? Hear me, it is major. Why? You cannot grow and remain the same. The more you grow, the more you become successful. You talk about earning, you cannot earn beyond the knowledge that you have. The more you learn, the more you earn. If a person is telling you to say, I don't have any money, I'm not making any money, they are telling you how much knowledge they have and what they have learned, what they've been exposed to up to now. When you hear a person tell you to say, I'm having conflicts in my relationship, they are telling you to say, listen, I don't know anything about communication, I don't know much about relating. The level of knowledge that you have in an area will determine the success. He gave me the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey. Oh, that book changed my paradigm. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you want to see the lens, you see right now as you are here, there's a lens you are using to interpret everything I'm saying. All of us, our upbringing, our culture, our experience has actually created a lens that we are using to interpret life. All of us, as we are here. The environment we grew up in has created a lens that we use to interpret life and to see life. Stephen Covey is the one who says, begin with the end in mind. Anytime you want to start something, go to the end. He learned that from the Bible. Isaiah 46, verse 10 and 11. Isaiah 46, verse 10 and 11. God makes known the end from the beginning, from ancient times, what is still to come. I say, my purpose will stand, and I'll do what I want to do. That book opened my... Actually, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People becomes like a manual that you use. Because the concepts, that's where I learned from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the concept of what you are is so loud, I can't hear what you're saying. Listen to that word. It's talking about character. What you are is so loud, I can't hear what you're saying. What you are is so loud, I cannot hear what you're saying. He gave me the book, Think and Grow Rich. Just listen to the title. Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich is an all-time classic of a young guy who went to see one of the richest men of his time, Andrew Carnegie. Napoleon Hill was a reporter. He was writing reports on people who were successful, and he went to interview Andrew Carnegie. As he was interviewing Andrew Carnegie asked him a question. If I were to give you a letter of introduction to the wealthiest men, the most successful men in the whole of America, could you spend the next 20 years of your life pursuing that? And Andrew Carnegie waited to see the response. Within a minute, seconds, Napoleon Hill took it. And I love what Andrew Carnegie told him. If you had taken more than a minute, I wouldn't have given you that opportunity. He says, successful people are decisive. Tell your neighbor, successful people are decisive. Come on, speak up. Successful people are decisive. Tell somebody, successful people are decisive. Do you know why some of you have not hit the level of success you're supposed to? You are still waiting. Successful people are decisive. I learned that from there. In Think and Grow Rich, one of the outstanding principles there is definiteness of purpose. Definiteness of purpose. If you are going to make it, you must have definiteness of purpose. If you are going to make it, it says you must have a burning desire. Do you know that people do not want really to be successful? I know most people say they want to be successful, but to tell you the truth, they don't want to be successful. Why do I say that? Hunger. Hunger, the level of drive in a person, determines the level of success they'll hit. A lot of people are not hungry, and that's why a lot of people are going to suffer in life. Because if your life is not driven, you don't have this drive in you to achieve, to want to become better, to want to impact your generation, to want to leave a mark on the earth. If that drive is not in you, you can't. I got that from that book. Then listen, if I go through the list of the books, I remember the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. George Carson. That book...